Hi everyone and welcome to this new Photoshop tutorial. For those who don't know me, excuse me for my English, I know it's pretty poor, it's not my first language, but I hope you'll enjoy it anyway. So, couples of days ago, a friend of mine asked me how we can achieve to create a realistic planet in Photoshop. So today this is what we will see. There is a lot of tutorial about doing planets and space scene in general on the internet. So space sky, explosion, sci-fi scene. And there's a lot of technique and this can be really you can put really much attention on creating something like that. But today we will keep that simple and only focus on the creation of a planet. Maybe in some later tutorial we would see more advanced technique. So I just start with a fairly basic space background. So before the tutorial I've done that, but this is not what's important here. What's important here first, it's the choice of your planet texture. So anything you do in the creation of Unreal thing in Photoshop, what is really important is the choice of your image before you start. So today I'll work with this rocky mountain texture and this rust texture. So with that technique you can experiment with a lot of different texture. So it's up to you what kind of planet you want to create and go ahead, just try. Just for your information, just before the tutorial I make some tests with that texture and it's too bright, so it's kind of hard to achieve a better result. So I'll use this one that is more dark for this tutorial. So first, what we want to do is extract an elliptical selection of that texture. So you take your elliptical marquee tool and with Alt and Shift press, you can create a perfect circle from the center of your mouse. So I'll take maybe that part with the little orange here and the little green here. So that can be a pretty cool planet. So you copy that and go into your main file and paste it. So it's really bigger with okay, so I'm using a Mac, so I'll tell command each time, but if you're on a PC, you use the control key and not the command key. So you do command T, and again with the shift and alt press, you can adjust the size of that layer without losing the proportion. So this is about the size I want my planet. Okay, and you rename your layer planet texture, and we will put that in a group that we will call planet 1, like this. Okay, it's fairly important to name your layer, and everybody's know that. Okay, so now a little tricks. I just copy that so you can see how important this step is. You select, oh sorry, I forgot something really important. So this planet is really not a sphere, it's only a circle. So you select you want to select the content of that layer. To do that you click command and click on the thumbnails and you can see this select just what is contained in the layer. So with that done, you go into filter, distortion and spherize. This will give a sphere look to your planet. So you can play with the amount you want to spherize your planet. So usually I use a 100% amount, but these days I found this create a really too blurry effect. So I'll drop down just a little bit, about 80, and that could be a pretty cool effect. Yeah, so this is perfect. So now it's really more like a ball than just a circle. But I think it's not really blending well with the background. So I again command click. I go into my selection, I modify and feather. So I'll use maybe a 7 or 8 pixel feather. This depends on the size of your planet. You can experiment a little bit. I use usually between 5 and 10. And now I invert the selection. So select inverse. And I press backspace one time to delete the extra edge. So now you see it's blending really better on the background. Now we'll add some atmosphere to the planet. Before that, there is no rule about when you want to colorize your planet, so it really have the shape you want. The color you want. I just changed that a little because okay, it's alright like that. I don't like the green to be in the bottom like that. Okay, I change it. Okay, so what I was saying is you can colorize now, but I suggest you to wait until the end of the process because it will be easier to see the final products. So now we'll just create a little atmosphere. So select your layer, FX, and create an outer glow. Light blue atmosphere are pretty cool, so I choose a light blue outer glow, put that to linear light, like that, and you can grow the size a little bit. Yeah, this looks pretty decent. And you can put the noise up a little bit, not really, depends on the size again, but in my case I won't go really higher than 2. I guess 1 is the best. And now the inner glow. So inner glow, you want to add to complete the atmosphere. So a really a blue more darker than the first and more maybe grayish. So something like that. You can throw down a little bit the opacity, but you surely want to increase the size of it. So maybe this is a little bit too fakeish. So we will throw down the opacity and again the size, but yeah, you can play with that, depend of what kind of look you want your planet. So this is something I'm fairly happy with it. Okay. Okay, perfect. Now we have here a pretty cool planet. Sorry. That I increase that a little and decrease the opacity again a little. Oh, sorry. You need to put that to overlay if you want to achieve a better result and not screen. So this is why maybe the result was not like I expected. So this is better now. Okay, so we got now a pretty decent planet, but nothing really mind-blowing. So it can be a good moment now to colorize the thing. So I usually use image, adjustment, hue and saturation. I like to drop down the saturation a little because in space color are not so saturated, especially in a planet like that. And you can play a little bit with hue and saturation again. Okay, so it's more like something I like now. And now we will add another step, so create another layer and rename that planet shadow. Again, with the command click, you select the planet, and with the planet shadow layer selected, you paint that in black. Now you go into filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and again the value that you lose is up to you, and it depends on the effect you want to achieve. So I usually do something like that. You can see if you understand the process well, from that step you can fairly easily create an eclipse look effect, but this is not the goal for this exercise. So you select the planet shadow and move it just a little bit like that, so you can create a nice shadow on your planet. You can resize it if you're not really satisfied with what you got now, so maybe this could be a little bit better. But I was pretty satisfied with what I got first. So I'll stay like that. And I just move the planet a little bit here, and I don't like to have little stars like that where my shadow is supposed to be. So I'll just erase them with the creation of a little layer, something pretty basic. Okay. So now that we have this planet, we can add a little bit of light just around the edge here, because we're not really sure where the light came from, but we can guess that here this will be a little bit more brighter. So you create a new layer and you call that light planet. And to be simple, you put that in overlay right now. Now you take a white color, take your brush tool, take a fairly huge soft brush, and just on the edge, just paint it a little bit like that. So this is pretty cool. It just add a little bit of glow on it, but not too much. You can play with that, play with the size of your brush. This can be pretty cool. Okay, perfect. So now that you've done that, you got a pretty decent planet. What you could do is just duplicate this, duplicate your layer, calling that moon. Okay, put that really small. Again, change, I remove the light usually when I do that, and put this in a different place, something like that. Drop down the outer glow. Okay. Again, oops. I unlocked this by error. Okay. Drop that a little bit more down. And you create to your planet a cool moon in a couple of seconds. Maybe it's a little bit too big again. Whoops, this is my inner glow. So it's just a baby planet for your baby planet, and if you found the are too much the same, so you can go again into UN saturation, drop down the saturation more, change the U, so your planet will look pretty different, just like that in a second. So this is how you can achieve a cool realistic planet. We'll see now really fast what it looks like with the rust texture. So I'll do it really fast. So I'll just talk while I do it. So elliptical marquee tool again. Alt shift to achieve this pretty perfect circle. Okay, paste it. Planet texture. Put that into a group. Planet rust. Okay, I want this to be really more small because it's in the background. Again, command click, filter, distortion, spherize. This will process a little. Okay, AD was pretty good, but with that one, I'll do a 90 effect. Okay, perfect. I'll let that selected so I can go into select, modify, feather. This is a smaller planet, so I put that to 6. Invert the selection with Shift Command I. This is the hotkey for doing that. Backspace. This is more how I like it. So, outer glow again, so we'll select a light blue, put that to linear light, a little bit of noise, and a little bit of size. And with that you can, with that kind of planet that is more red, you can put a dark blue for the inner atmosphere, but I like to choose something that is more in the color of the planet. So maybe something a little bit orange, a little like that maybe. This is pretty good, but maybe too. Don't forget to. Okay, perfect. This is more how I like it, but finally I'm not really sure about the orange thing on that one, so I'll stick to the blue, but you can experiment and in some case it could be pretty good. So okay, this is great, and maybe the outer glow will be better to be a little bit orange, but not too much. Just okay, so in our case the blue it's better for what I want to achieve. So it again really depend on what your goal is with that. Overlay, but I'll drop that a little bit. Okay, and now I'll do the color correction on that one. So I want this planet to be a little bit less saturated, a little bit less bright, and maybe a little bit more purplish red, like that. Okay, I select the layer, create a new layer, name it planet shadow, and paint that in black. Gaussian blur on the shadow. Okay, this is way too heavy for that. Okay, you move that a little bit like that, maybe like that. Okay, and now what's happening, you see that this go over the background and over the cloud, and it's not really beautiful. So the technique, again, you command click on that, invert the selection, select your planet shadow, and press delete. So you achieve a pretty cool look, but you can see that here is not good enough. So I'll undo that, move this a little bit like that. Again, select my planet, invert the selection, press delete, and now I can move it a little bit like this, and you achieve a pretty decent effect on that shadow. So this is pretty cool, I guess. And we can drop the opacity a little bit so it's not completely dark, more like yeah, something like that. Okay, this is cool. And again, you can add another layer that you put in overlay mode and you call light planet. You take your white brush tool and you can paint around the edge of that planet. In that case, my brush was really too big, so something like that. So we guess the light came from this direction. And this planet is far away behind, so maybe we can put that behind the overground. No, not a good idea. But we'll put that like this, a little bit smaller. And this is a pretty cool effect, I guess. So you can see now how to create a realistic planet in a second. The really important thing is to experiment with what kind of atmosphere you want to give to your planet and what kind of texture you want to give to your planet. Sorry, I'm not really satisfied with that. Okay. This is more like I like. Okay, so I hope you enjoy, and don't hesitate to comment and ask for other tutorial.